I wasn't confident with my disability. And working at Sephora has opened my mind.
Having these discussions and celebrating again the excellence of this community, it just really normalizes this. Let's talk about disability, let's talk about mental health, let's talk about accommodations, let's just make it part of being an inclusive environment.
What I wish that people knew more about disabilities is that we're able to do everything. We're very creative in our own way.
This world was not really built for us, and we've found so many solutions, and we've made it to the same place that everyone else has.
Just having like a hearing loss does not mean that only older people have hearing loss, because I think a lot of times people think I'm joking. Just because you can't see it doesn't mean that it's not there.
For me, I am the accessibility program supervisor. I've been with Sephora 5 years. When I am doing trainings for supervisors and managers, the first thing I do is say, ATP, ask the person what they need. We don't exactly know. We always make sure we ask them what they need to be successful in their employment.
A couple years back, I had just made a casual LinkedIn post about here's some interview practices you can do to help make interviews more accessible to people on the autism spectrum disorder. And my district manager saw it and reached out and said, hey, this is really cool. Like, do you mind actually sharing this on a district-wide call? And that was kind of the first moment that I realized, like, oh, Sephora has an interest in this and actually wants to create a platform, and this is a safe space for me to share these things. And that moment was really a stepping stone for me to like really embrace being open about my identity and my diagnosis as well.
The community at Sephora is just amazing. Oh, what can we do for you? What can we move for you? Or can we move the microwave down so you can use it? And I feel welcome and loved.
When I came back to my store after my cochlear surgery, there was like flowers and cards, and everybody was asking me like what they can do. People even offered to buy me like hearing aid batteries, like just to be supportive.
I work fully remote, and so typically people don't see my prosthetic leg. You know, you only see my chin up. But when I am able to meet people in person, they're just so welcoming, and there's no judgment, there's no staring.
How has being a part of the employee resource group benefited you?
You know, for me, Sephora is really the first work environment where I felt safe, openly identifying myself as having an autism spectrum disorder. And it's one of the best choices I've ever made. You know, about 2 years ago, I had the opportunity to help launch Sephora's first disability-focused ERG, Sephorability. And so really being open about my identity has been one of the greatest moments within my career and my personal life. And I really owe a lot of that to this environment where I feel so safe.
No matter where we are, I just know that there's people in the company that advocate for me or that know how to help me, and it just helps day to day, just being able to be a part of a family like Sephora.
So one of the ways that I try to be more inclusive to people with disabilities is really just by having dialogue with them. What are some of the things that you all do to be more inclusive to people with disabilities?
It's little things like setting an agenda beforehand so folks know what to expect when they're going into a meeting, or, you know, if you're on Zoom, turning on closed captions. You know, it's little things like that that you can start implementing in your day-to-day just to make your overall environment inclusive of whoever is going to be present.
I love that answer because I feel like so many people get caught up on this idea that inclusivity requires like leaps and bounds of change, but it really can be like these really small steps. And what's cool is like the steps that you mentioned of adding agendas to the invites. These are actually things that benefit everybody. Whether you identify as disabled or not, you're actually making it more accessible to everybody involved. So I love that.
Yes. I was often told the words, you can't or you shouldn't. I think that I internalized a lot of that. But I wish that I ignored it a little bit earlier on, and I wish that I dreamed a little bit bigger. And so now, you know, I'm so grateful that where I am is actually where I want to be. So what about you? What do you wish that someone told you earlier on in your career?
Growing up as a gay man, I already felt different enough, and sometimes you wonder if there's a limit to people's tolerance and acceptance. So I wish someone would have told me that my differences and uniqueness are actually my strength.
I wish I knew other people's opinions didn't have to change how I saw my future. Like, I really thought because of the bullying and the hate that I got just for wearing a hearing aid, I wasn't weird or too different from everybody else.
Knowing that you have a company like Sephora that supports and whatever disability is, they're always able to accommodate. So to see Sephora embrace that has been amazing, really has.
You know, something that gives me hope is hoping that there's some young person with disability, or maybe someone who at any point in their life is still feeling limited, seeing us, having this discussion, enjoying our careers, enjoying our lives, and I hope it gives them hope that they can have the same experiences, because I know for me growing up, I didn't see myself in a lot of the spaces I aspired to go to, and I hope that we can be that North Star for a lot of people to say, hey, if they're doing it, we can do it too.